Well, hello there. My apologies for that, hot format. But anyway, yes, this is, Jacob Phillips, and welcome to another gun walkthrough. Yep. Now, I had a very, well, I won't say close friend of mine, but a friend of mine. Just to the point, I apologize if I, didn't say your last name correctly. But anyway, he asked me if I could do the PKP Peshkanev, and so forth I shall. Yeah. So yeah, let us begin. The PKP Peshkanev was, in fact, made in 1963, still during the Vietnam era. It was actually first of use in the Vietnam War by the Viet Cong and the North Vietnamese Army. Now, the PKP Peshkanev is a Russian light machine gun. It consists of the 7.62 by 54 caliber. Um, and wait for it. The PKP Peshkanev was made by actually Peshkanev. His name was Commander Ivan Peshkanev. Um, but then the whole entire Peshkanev industry, that type of shit. My bad. But anyway, now PKP is actually LMG in the format of Russian language. Oh, gas! We didn't know that, Jacob. You shut up. But anyway, yeah. Now, the PKP has a very, very deadly type of automatic system within it. There is really no select fire, by the way. It's just a high rapid fire weapon, and it has an ammo drum at least over to 150 or 200 rounds. The barrel is I cannot the dynamic of inches, but it's it can reach over 700 yards. It's very good for a light machine gun. It actually basically has a more of a modified RPK barrel, which is a Russian variant from the AK-47. Makes sense, bro. So basically, it has that type of barrel. It's just a little more smaller, but what's really cool about it is the curves within the barrel. It's not like, a basic barrel. It's like when it curves a little bit, then goes straight. Now another really now on fourth with the PKP. It's not that heavy either. It's actually along 15 or 18 pounds, depending on what barrel you have in it, because it actually does have interchangeable barrels. Um, so it's big. It's like light, heavy. Who knows? That and like the rotisserie and the spring are quite large. So actually, it does have some kick. Um, but it's worth it because 7.62 by 54 is a very high caliber round, especially if it's shooting out of a high, powerful gun. That's what Russians always did. They make their guns overkill. Now, an interesting fact about the PKP is the box design of where the chamber is kept and everything. The box design is very specific because they wanted to make the curves and the smooth of the bore more grippable. I'm sorry. Um, so it's be easier to carry. Due to the fact it's lighter weight, one guy can just carry that around. Especially due to the fact they have a side handle along the most like right or left, whichever the man carried the weapon. So it's easier to carry, and you can also fire from the hip. Due to the fact, yes, it has more of a high rapid fire capacity, but it's extremely accurate because it can go with those amount of yards, so you can pelt down those over 150 rounds across the battlefield. Um, Now more towards the background of the gun with Peshkanev. Ivan Peshkanev was a very very brutal man. He was a commanding officer in Russia during World War II. He was in Stalingrad. He was also in Prussia. He went through the Ukraine as well, and he really shown on the battlefield how to use a weapon. He is actually also one of the first guys to use the AK-47 when they was going to service. Of course, the Viet Cong and NVA got to it first because Russia like, hey, you know what? We can get more money if we spend it on to another communist country. So yeah, so we can build up a gun. But finally, when the Russians actually used the AK-47s, he was actually like one of the first guys to use it, which is pretty cool. He was like, "Oh, I get to test this motherfucker out." Sweet. So yeah, he got ideas. He's like, "What if I could make um a machine gun aside from an RPD and an RPK into a more stable and very accurate, but at the same time deadly machine gun." Now, by all means, the RPD and the RPK were headbangers. They were crazy, but the recoil was the crazy part. RPD had a lot of recoil. The RPK had a lot of recoil. The PKP still had somewhat recoil, but more or less. That's why the grip design of the whole entire gun made it so there won't be much recoil, due to the fact the rotisserie spring was a bit tighter and smaller, not like extremely big like in the RPD and the RPK. So by the time you shot off like so to say the limit of 8 to 10 shots, it was going to remain perfectly accurate. So that guy, if he does a single round burst with his own finger because you don't have a select firing pin, you could cause him massive damage. Then by all means, if you go rapid fire on the thing, it's still gonna be pretty freaking accurate. It's just gonna curve a little more up to the right, just because of the fact the bullet releases like that. So by the time it keeps doing that repeatedly, it's gonna bound to just start doing that itself. So, but still pretty accurate. So yeah, that is really it about the PKP Peshkanev. If you guys want any more little information on it, please leave me a comment down below. And that's it. We're out of ashes, guys. I'll see you in the next video.